Hello, welcome to episode 2 of LC Safe Space. It's been a while, not so long a while, but it's been a while. I'm happy to be back. So, today I'm going to be talking about something that is more like an encouragement. And this podcast is dedicated to those persons who have been trying to further their education. You probably weren't able to maybe finish your degree due to economical reasons, personal to you, or be certain things that happened. Maybe there was life incidents that had you to pull out, or you've been maybe attempting to take jam and you're yet to get admission, right? So this podcast is dedicated to you now. Disclaimer, this is not a paid promotion. This is just me sharing from my perspective, from my experience, right? I was that kid who wrote jam 3 times. First time I wrote jam, all times I wrote jam, I actually passed the course of mark. Now, first time I wrote the same year as you can study medicine and surgery in then, but passed the question, didn't get my admission. And yes, so like, oh, why don't you substitute this, that, blah, blah, blah. We don't do that where I'm from. So, um, that's not me saying those who did it, right? So I'm just trying to share from my experience, like I said. So, from Uniben, we moved to Benin Republic when life happened, had to drop out, right? Relocating from Benin Republic back to Lagos, I started working. Now, it was when I came to Lagos, I heard about National Open University for the first time, and I learned about how flexible it was schooling there. So, one major concern for me was, oh, how would I be able to raise the fees and because we were in a very financially tight phase at that point in time. So, I applied and I got the admission, but I didn't like did they accept the admission, right? I didn't pay my fees, I didn't start school. I was not appreciated about teaching fees. Then I wasn't earning so much, right? But one of the main reasons why I actually picked National Open University, and funny enough, this same thing popped up in a conversation with my team yesterday. Now, National Open University offers you flexibility in terms of not just um, how you take classes. It's mandatory. You actually, I would say mandatory anymore because currently there are virtual exams. If you don't want to come and write your exams in person, you have to pay an extra fee for that. I think per course. Now, as a school that operates, you can finish a 4 year degree in 4 years, as well as finish a 4 year degree in 7 years. Now, this is not an absolute strike fee. This is a way for those who probably are funding themselves and it's not easy for them to gather the school fees. The school fees is relatively affordable, depending on the course of study. Your 100 level per semester can be between 70K or I might be exaggerating to 100 and something depending on the course. The more finance it is, the more 100-ish it is, right? So you have that. Now they allow you to, you can have a 4 years course, you can extend it to a period of 7 years. So you get time to not just prepare mentally, but also prepare financially for each semester because school fees are paid in semester. Now the reason I'm recommending this is that I understand I've been in that place where raising fees has been a concern and I'm blessed to have one of the people in my life who helped me start this journey again. I'm currently about to begin my 200 level first semester. And I know for a fact that these people in my life had not supported me, I would not be where I am today. And I'm very, very grateful to them. And I pray that God continues to bless them. Now, if you are currently in a phase where you'd like to maybe go back for a BSc, or you have OND, HND, and you'd like to maybe get a BSc, I do not necessarily recommend you get a BSc, except it's needed. I don't know, I'm not an educational counselor, but I can recommend that you do a PGD if you have an HND, but if you're hell bent or you feel like it's necessary for you to get a BSc, you can also apply to get a BSc. You don't have to go to your school to go and request a transcript. Everything will be sorted. Now, for the application, I would recommend you go to the center closest to you. Yes, there are a couple of centers in the different states in Nigeria, so you can go to their website. I will do my best to attach the link of the school to the website and all that important things and support them, so you can always reach out and confirm. Now, I did not do my registration myself. I went to the school and there are some persons there who actually handle the registration for students. So you do the registration, filling, request for your transfer from another school at a fee. So I recommend you go to the center closest to you. The reason why I say go to the center closest to you is because if you're going to be writing in-person exams, that is, you're not writing virtual exams, you don't want a case where you are it takes you a while to get to school because some exams are as early as 8:30 in the morning. So you want to ensure that the it's a good proximity. The proximity is kind of favorable for you from either your place of residence or place of work to school. So you have to factor that. Now, for 100 level to 200 level students, you would usually do the exam, meaning that you're going to be doing exam the CBT way. Your exam is you're going to use the computer to write your exam, basically. Then when you get to 300 level, you get to do what we call pen and paper. And that's the exams. They give you questions in question paper, and you have to write out your answers. Now, the system operates in a way that is extremely conducive. Classes are done virtually. For some courses, you're required to do practicals, which will require you having to go to school to attend those practicals and fill in practical work will put you this code. Now, there's a system. Practical courses do not have what we call TME, right? TME are like the tests you do before your exams. Now, TME for other courses are not practical are done in the e-portal. That is, the e-portal is where you get to see the links to your live classes, get the recording for your live classes. There's also something we call discussion forum where the lecturer of each course is going to input a question which you're required to answer. There are a total of 6 discussion forums, and after discussion forum 1, discussion forum 2, that is when you can do your TME1, that's the first test. Now, after the first test, then you can be able to access discussion forum 3 and 4, depending on the week it is in the school calendar. Some discussion forums are not open to a certain number of weeks rather. So it's important that you are abreast. So once you register, it's important that you also go to your department, fill in your name, and ensure that you are added to the official school group because a WhatsApp group or a Telegram group, I feel like it might be different for different departments and different study centers. Yeah, study centers are the different centers where you can write your exam. So if you're registered to a particular study center, that is where you're going to write the exam. Now, with that, ensure that you are in the official WhatsApp group so that you get information from the fellow classmates you guys can you can get to have study buddies at the end of the day, right? So there are going to be other groups for other courses depending on what department. For the 1 year I've been in now, we have had a lot of groups. Now, groups come and go. So if you probably are sitting an exam, you probably might need to be in the same group. If the lecturer wants to maintain it or the coursework is still repeating the course, yes. So you have that. Now, you've registered, you've started. It's important that you download your course materials. The course materials are your handout. They are the main source of your exam. Now, you also have to be watchful because some of the course materials are updated. You might have to do thorough research to find the updated version. Sometimes you might have downloaded a version later and it was later updated, so you have to keep checking and ensure that you are reading the updated copy. Because an incident happened in my 100 level first semester where I was using a course material, wrong course material, only for a different thing to come out. But yeah, we thank God for His wisdom and guidance. I didn't carry over the course, right? So practicals have 30 marks. You have a total of 3 TMAs per course. So for courses where you don't do um, TMAs, that means for practical courses, you get 30 marks after your main score like it's over 30. Now your TMAs, you have 3, so 10 marks, 10 marks, 10 marks. Now after those, after 30 marks, you have your exam, which is over 70. Now for 3 unit courses, you might be given 100 questions. And there's a math to it where the after scoring over 100, there's a division math to it where they do over 70. So you have to ensure that you do well with your TMAs. Now, TMAs are not as strict as examination. Um, you can, with the help of AI, study your handout because it might be a lot. It might seem overwhelming, especially for somebody who is working and schooling at the same time. I'm in the creative space, so it can be quite demanding having to read so much and still having to produce much content. So information overload is something I try my best to manage. Now, what I do is I use platforms like Notebook LM, Gemini, or research. I try to download past questions. So it's easy for Notebook LM and Gemini or ChatGPT to break down my handouts. I have a couple of prompts I use. So it breaks down my handouts to understandable, practical, and relatable bits. So I get to assimilate my whole handout. I can do that in a day if let's say, I do not have anything that is pending at that point in time. I can finish a whole handout in a day with the way, because the way I run my prompt, I ask it to teach it to me in the most relatable and digestible way. I even add it like, okay, factor in the fact that this person might have a bit of ADHD, right? So with that, it's able to give me explanation in bits. Another thing I always ask you to do is to give me test questions at the end of each unit. So I get to test how much I was able to retain, right? So if I don't retain too much, we go by it, the parts that I wasn't able to hold on to at the end of the day. When once I'm done with that unit, I can maybe upload the past questions I have compiled and run through them and see the ones I can get and the like. So you have that. Now for TNA, with the help of TNA, you can be able to hook up because TNA is self-paced, though there is a time limit for when you have to be done with all your TNA. So what you have to basically do is ensure that, oh, okay, you are getting 30 marks, even though some courses you might not be able to get up to 30 marks, but do your best not to get below 26, 27, because getting 6, you have to have a minimum of, let's see, 30 something to be scoring A or B, right? If you're looking to get the best part or something, right? So you have to do better. Now, the lower you score in your TMS, the higher you should score. Yes, and you don't want to carry over. The information we were given, they were starting at 100 levels that they're required to do not more than 24 units per semester. So as you get higher, you realize that there are a lot of courses and units might be like, this is compulsory. How do you manage that, right? So don't panic. Ensure you get as much courses as you can carry, and you should always intentionally plan ahead. You can probably check for 200 level, right? This is something I wish I did because now I have to do more course load this semester because I missed out the course for my registration last year. So with that, you have to plan ahead, be able to have a study plan. I actually have a study group I study with. We don't necessarily study, we just share resources because we all have different work times and different responsibilities. So it can be quite a lot trying to get everybody to be available at the same time. So what we do is we share resources whenever we come across something that is useful. Maybe one person is reading and the like, right? So you can be able to do that. Now, I would recommend that once you join your school group, the official school group, you have to prepare yourself. There are a lot of persons coming from different backgrounds, so maybe somebody might piss you off based on how they're interacting. Trust me, I have been in that group for a while, and I'm like, is it that some persons do not know what social ethics are because there's some kind of messages some persons send. It's just a lot. So don't worry. Now they test you, but you're made for it. You're made to work on it. So um, that's that for exam. So once you're done making payments, registering your courses, there are certain things you have to print. Some you have to laminate. You have to laminate your oath form, your course registration slip, and your exam registration slip. I think there are two. No, you have to laminate your exam registration slip and your oath form. Those are the two documents aside your ID card you'll be taking to the exam hall when you want to write exam. It's important that you always have this because you might not be allowed to go in to write your exam if you don't have this document. Yeah. So there are a couple of courses. I will share the link so you can always check. I will also share the link where you can get like an estimate idea of how much you would pay per semester. Now, for 100 level, like person, like I said, I paid someone to do the registration for me. I'm going to add the link and all of other things. If you want the person's number, you can maybe reach out to me on social media, the news that I will share the person's contact with you. But this person is in Lagos, and my center is on the island, that's Victoria Island. So you might want to maybe check out people who are close to your area and all that. Yeah. So, what else? You're going to meet amazing people. Trust me, I have. Last year, I met amazing people that I never knew I'd come across with, and it has been fun. Exams are one of, I would say, one of my exciting times to be in now. Because I get to see a lot of my classmates since a lot of us we probably work remotely or have our different jobs, and that was the only time we get to come together. So it's something you can try out if you haven't considered going back to school. You might always start doing that. It's an added advantage. Yes, you already have the work experience. Why not give yourself an extra edge in the labor market? Yeah, some person might say, oh, it's just a certificate. It doesn't. Yeah, I was of the opinion it was just a certificate because I was I was employed even before I went back to school. I was getting jobs, right? But it doesn't change the fact that there are a lot of things you can do. And look at it this way, if you're somebody who's in a career space, you don't know who you might meet. There are a couple of persons I've met in school that I never knew I would cross paths with them, right? So don't let your mind limit you. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me. I'll be dropping my email address and dropping my social handle in the description. So thank you for joining. See you in the next episode.